On the planet Aurelian Prime, everything was perfect and cold. The sky was silver. The buildings were tall, smooth, and without color. Soldiers walked in perfect lines. People spoke only when needed. Emotions were not welcome at the center of it all was the great palace of Empress Valari. She ruled with no kindness and no fear. Her voice was calm. Her eyes were sharp. Her face never showed a smile. People called her the Ice Queen. She did not mind the name. She believed it was right. Weak rulers fell. Strong rulers stayed. And strength came from silence and control. That was how Aurelian had become powerful. That was how peace had stayed. Then, one day, a ship arrived from Earth. The Empress stood at the top of the long stairs that led to the palace. Her guards were behind her. The wind moved her silver cape. She did not move as the human ship landed slowly on the smooth stone. The ship opened. A man stepped out. He was not tall. He was not armored. He wore simple clothes. He had brown hair and a small beard. He looked around and smiled. His name was Ethan Cole. He was Earth's envoy. His job was to speak, to listen, and to build peace. Valari narrowed her eyes. This man looked too soft, too warm. She stepped down the stairs slowly. "You are late," she said. Ethan smiled again. "Sorry about that. The stars don't care much about our schedules." Her face did not change. "I do not care for jokes." He nodded. "Then I'll keep them quiet, for now." That night, there was a welcome meal. It was quiet and serious. Ethan sat across from Valari. He tried to talk. She listened, but said very little. He spoke of Earth. He told stories of cities, mountains, animals, and music. He spoke of laughter, of family, of small things that made life full. Valari listened with cold eyes. But something in her heart moved just a little. These things were useless, yes. But why did they sound so peaceful? The next day, there was a meeting. Valari spoke to many leaders from other worlds. Ethan was there, sitting in the corner. When one leader tried to push Aurelian to give more ships, Valari stood firm. "We will not follow," she said. "We will lead." The room became quiet. Ethan leaned forward. "Maybe there's a way to lead together," he said. "Shared strength is stronger than fear." Everyone turned to look at him. No one had ever interrupted Valari. She looked at him for a long moment. Then she turned back to the others. "We will consider all paths," she said. Later, as the meeting ended, Valari walked past Ethan. "You speak out of place," she said. He shrugged. Someone had to say it. She didn't answer. That evening, Valari stood alone in her garden. The plants there were blue and cold. She touched one with her fingers. It felt smooth and lifeless. She thought about Ethan's words, about his smile, about the way he talked as if he was not afraid. No one on Aurelian smiled like that. No one laughed. No one dared. Why did this human make her curious? The next morning, she called him to walk with her. They walked in silence through the long halls. Then she asked, "Why do you smile?" He looked at her. "Because life is short, and smiles make it better." She did not understand. Smiles are a weakness. He laughed a little. Or maybe they're armor. Just ... a different kind. Valari said nothing. But again, something moved inside her. That night, she looked up old records of Earth. Videos, photos, children running, people dancing, a man giving a woman flowers, a group singing near a fire. She turned off the screen. Her fingers shook. Just a little. The Ice Queen did not shake. But maybe something was changing, and it had all started with a smile. Asterisk, Ethan Cole sat quietly in the grand hall. Around him were leaders from many planets. The walls were made of dark stone, and the floor was so clean it reflected their faces. No one smiled. No one laughed. It was a room of silence and power. Empress Valari entered with slow, strong steps. Her silver robe flowed behind her. She sat on her high seat and looked at each leader with cold eyes. The meeting began. The leaders spoke of war, defense, and trade. Each one wanted more power. Each one feared the others. Ethan listened, then raised his hand. The others turned to look at him. "We all want peace," he said. "But peace is not just silence. It is trust. And trust takes time. We must start with small steps." One of the leaders, a tall man with green skin, laughed. "The human speaks of trust. How can we trust Earth, a weak world?" Ethan stayed calm. "Maybe Earth is small, but we survive by helping each other, and we offer the same help to you." Valari looked at Ethan. She did not speak, but something in her eyes was softer than before. Later, she met Ethan in the garden. "You speak too much," she said. "Someone has to," he replied with a smile. "Words are wind," she said. "But wind can change everything," Ethan said. "It can turn cold into warm." She walked beside him in silence. For a long time, they said nothing. Then she asked, "Do humans ever feel fear?" "All the time," Ethan said. "But we still move forward. That's what makes us strong." She nodded slowly. "That is ... strange." Over the next few days, Ethan was invited to more meetings. He listened. He spoke. Some leaders liked him. Some did not, but they all listened. One evening, Valari invited him to a private dinner. The room was quiet. The food was simple. There were no guards. "Tell me a story," she said. Ethan blinked. "A story from Earth. A true one." He thought for a moment. Then he spoke. There was a boy in a small town. He had nothing. No family, no money. But he smiled every day. He helped others. He learned. One day, he became a teacher. He made the lives of others better. Not with power, but with kindness. Valari was quiet. "And you knew this boy?" "Yes," Ethan said. "He was my teacher." She looked at him for a long time. "Your world is very different. So is yours," Ethan said. "But maybe they don't have to stay so different." She said nothing. The next morning, Ethan visited the city. He walked with Lisa Rain, his second in command. She was smart and careful. She noticed things others missed. "They watch us," Lisa said. "Not just the people. The royal guards, too." "Let them watch," Ethan said. "We have nothing to hide." "Still, be careful," she said. That night, Valari stood on her balcony. She looked at the stars. She thought of Ethan's stories, his smile, his calm voice. He made her feel ... unsure, and she had not felt unsure in many years. She touched her necklace. It was a symbol of the throne. Cold, metal, heavy. Maybe it was time to feel something else. The next day, Valari called Ethan to her private study. "I want to see more," she said. "More of what? Of Earth, of your ways, of the things that bring fire to your people." Ethan smiled. "I'll show you, one story at a time." She nodded. "Then let us begin." And so, the Ice Queen and the human envoy walked together. One from cold silence, one from warm light, two worlds, two hearts. Something new was beginning, and it started not with war, but with a smile. The sky over Aurelian Prime was quiet, but inside the palace, danger was growing. Ethan felt it in the way the guards looked at him. He felt it in the silence of the halls. Something was wrong. He met with Lisa Rain in a quiet room near the gardens. "They are hiding something," Lisa said. Ethan nodded. "I feel it too. The leaders in Valaris court look nervous when I talk about peace." "Not just nervous," Lisa said. "I think some of them want her gone." Ethan looked down. "We have to be careful. If Valari is in danger, we need to find out who is behind it." At the same time, Valari sat alone in her chamber. She held a small glass box in her hands. Inside it was a flower from Earth. Ethan had given it to her 2 days ago. "It means hope," he had said. "In our stories, this flower blooms in hard times." She looked at the flower now. It was simple, small, and alive. Unlike the cold things around her, a voice came from behind her. It was her advisor, Lord Kalen. "The human grows too close," he said. "The people talk. Let them talk." Valari said. "He changes you," Kalen said. "That is dangerous." Valari turned to him. Her eyes were sharp. "What is more dangerous? Change, or staying frozen forever?" Kalon said no more. He bowed and left. Later that evening, Ethan and Valari walked through the inner halls. She wore a simple robe instead of her usual royal dress. Her voice was softer. "I was not always like this," she said. Ethan looked at her like what? Cold, silent, empty. "What changed you?" She looked away. "War, death, trust broken. So I became the Ice Queen. I thought it was the only way to keep control." "Maybe it was," Ethan said. "But maybe now you don't have to be alone anymore." She said nothing, but her steps slowed. Her hand brushed his for a second. It was a small moment, but it felt like fire. The next day, Ethan went to the Royal Library. He wanted to learn more about Aurelian's past. Lisa followed. "Look at this," Lisa said, pointing to a file. "Secret council orders. They're planning something. They want to take control away from Valari." Ethan read the lines. It was clear there was a shadow council, a group of powerful nobles who wanted to remove Valari. "We need to tell her," Ethan said. "We have to be smart," Lisa warned. "If we move too fast, they might strike first." That night, Valari met Ethan in the garden. The air was cold, but the stars were bright. "Do you ever miss home?" she asked. "Every day," he said. "But I also believe in the future. That's why I'm here." He paused. "And I believe in you." She looked at him. Her face showed emotion for the first time. Not fear, not anger, just a quiet sadness. "I don't know if I believe in myself anymore," she said. Ethan stepped closer. "Then let me believe for both of us. Until you're ready." Valari did something she had never done before. She laughed. It was soft, but real. "You are a strange man, Ethan Cole." "Takes one to know one," he smiled. Back inside the palace, Lord Kalen met with the Shadow Council. "She is weak," one said. "The human has made her soft," another added. "It is time," Kalen said. "Tomorrow we strike." As morning came, the sky over Aurelian Prime was still calm. But Ethan knew it would not last. He looked at the flower in the glass box in Valeri's chamber. It was still blooming, and he knew the Ice Queen was changing. But the storm was coming. The palace was quiet, but the silence felt heavy. Empress Valari walked through the halls with slow steps. Her guards were around her, but she felt something was wrong. Something hidden. Ethan Cole stood on the balcony, watching the city. Lisa walked up beside him. "They will move soon," she said. "I know," Ethan said. "We just don't know when." He looked at the sky. It was grey. No wind, no sound. It felt like the world was holding its breath. Later that evening, a grand event was held in the main hall. Leaders from many worlds came. It was a show of peace and strength. Valari wore her silver robe and crown. Her face was calm. Ethan stood near the wall, watching. Lisa stood by the door. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Then, without warning, a loud blast shook the hall. Smoke filled the air. Guards shouted. People ran. Ethan rushed toward Valari, but she was already surrounded by her guards. A small group of soldiers moved fast through the smoke. They wore royal armor, but their eyes were cold. They attacked. Valari raised her hand to stop them, but one aimed a weapon at her. "Down with the queen," he shouted. Ethan threw himself forward and pushed Valari down just before the shot was fired. The blast hit the wall behind them. Guards fought back. The battle lasted only minutes, but it felt much longer. When the smoke cleared, 5 men were dead. 2 were royal guards. 3 were traitors. Ethan was pulled away by more guards. His hands were tied. "What are you doing?" he asked. "You are under arrest," one guard said, "for helping the attack." "That's a lie. I saved her." But they did not listen. They dragged him away. Lisa saw everything. She disappeared into the crowd before anyone noticed. In the royal chamber, Valari stood alone. Her robe was burned on one side. Her hand was shaking, just a little. Lord Kalen entered. "We caught the traitor," he said. "The human." "No," Valari said softly. "He led them. He was near you when the attack happened. He saved me," Valari said. "Perhaps it was part of the plan." Valari looked away. She remembered the way Ethan pushed her, the fear in his eyes, the way he shouted her name. She felt her heart twist. "Bring him to me," she said. Ethan stood in a small prison room, his hands still tied. When Valari entered, he stood straight. "I didn't do this," he said at once. "I know," she said. Ethan blinked. "Then why am I in chains?" "Because the others do not believe you, and I needed time." "Time for what?" "To think," she said. "To decide what to do." She stepped closer. "Why did you save me?" "You could have run." "Because I care," he said. "About this place, about the peace, and about you." Valari looked at him. For the first time, she saw more than just a human. She saw a friend, a man who risked his life for her. She reached out and cut the ropes round his wrists. "You are free," she said, "but you must leave the palace. For your safety." "I'm not leaving you," he said. "This is not a request," she said. "Then I'll stay in secret," he said. "But I won't run." Valari almost smiled, stubborn, like all humans. That night, Lisa found Ethan hiding in a small guest room. "They think you tried to kill her," she said. "I know, but she let me go. She knows the truth." "We need proof," Lisa said. "I found files, secret orders. The attack was planned by the Shadow Council." "Then let's show her," Ethan said. "Not yet. It's too risky. But I know where to find the rest." As the palace slept, Lisa slipped into the lower chambers. She moved fast and quiet. She reached a locked door and used a small device to open it. Inside were old files, sealed orders, and names. She copied what she needed and left without a sound. Back in her room, Valari stood by the window. She watched the stars. Her thoughts were heavy. Ethan's words echoed in her mind. I care about you. No one had ever said that to her. The Ice Queen did not cry, but her eyes were not dry. Something inside her had started to melt the next day. The storm would rise again, but she was not alone anymore, and neither was Ethan. The morning on Aurelian Prime was dark. Clouds covered the sky. The wind felt sharp. In the palace, Empress Valari stood at her window. Her hands were behind her back. She did not wear her crown. She had made a choice in a secret room below the palace. Ethan Cole sat beside Lisa Rain. On the table in front of them were the files Lisa had stolen. The truth was clear. The Shadow Council had planned everything. The attack, the lies, even Ethan's arrest. We have names now, Lisa said. Kalen, Turul Sivan, all members of the council. We need to show Valari, Ethan said. She already knows. Part of it, Lisa replied. But this is the proof. At that moment, the door opened. Valari entered. She was alone. You risk much by meeting here, she said. So do you, Ethan answered. VLAR. I looked at the files. She read them slowly. Her face did not change. But when she finished, she closed her eyes for a moment. I knew Kalen was hiding things, she said, but I did not know how deep it went. You have loyal people, Ethan said, but you also have enemies. Inside your own walls. Yes, Valari said, and it is time I face them. That night, she called a meeting in the royal court. The main hall was filled with her advisors and high lords. Ethan and Lisa watched from a side balcony, hidden behind a screen. Valari walked into the room, but not in her royal robe. She wore simple clothes. Her hair was not tied back. She looked different, still strong, but more human. I have been silent for too long, she said, and in that silence, lies have grown. The room was still. Some of you have worked against me. Some of you planned to take the throne. Whispers began. Eyes turned to Kalen. I have proof, Valari said. She raised her hand. Guards brought forward. The files. These show your secrets, your plans, your betrayal. Kalen stepped forward. These lies come from the human. He wants to break us. Ethan stepped out from the shadows. No, he said. I want to help you heal. Kalen reached for a weapon, but Valari raised her voice. Stop. Guards moved quickly. Kalen and the others were taken away. Some fought. Most gave up. The court was shaken, but it was done. Later, Valari sat in the garden with Ethan. It is over, she said. Not yet, Ethan said. Now comes the hard part. Rebuilding. I do not want to rule like before, she said. I want a new path, one where fear does not lead. Ethan smiled. Then you will not be the Ice Queen anymore. She looked at him. Will you help me? Always, he said. That night, Valari spoke to the people. It was the first time she had done it herself, without her advisors. I have made mistakes, she said. I was cold when I should have listened. I was silent when I should have spoken. That ends today. The people watched in silence. They had never seen her like this. Her voice was still strong, but there was warmth in it. Together, we will build something new, she said. Not through fear, but through truth. The crowd did not cheer. Not yet, but something began to change in their eyes. Ethan stood beside her. He did not speak. He did not need to. Later, as the night grew quiet, Valari and Ethan walked through the empty hall. "You gave me back my voice," she said. "You always had it," he said. "You just forgot how to use it." She stopped walking. She turned to him. "There is something else you gave me too. What's that?" She stepped closer. Her hand touched his. "Hope." Then, without a word, she kissed him. It was soft, slow, not full of fire, but gentle warmth. Ethan smiled. "Guess I'm not just an envoy anymore." Valari smiled back, a real smile. "No," she said. "You are much more than that." The Ice Queen was no more, and a new fire had begun to rise in her heart. The sky over Aurelian Prime burned red. Smoke rose from the far side of the city. Loud sounds of battle echoed through the air. The Shadow Council had not fallen quietly. They had loyal fighters, and now they were striking back. Valari stood on the palace wall, looking at the flames. She wore light armor, silver and dark blue. Her eyes were steady. Ethan stood beside her. He wore armor too, though not like the Aurelians. It was made for movement, not war. "They've taken the outer gate," Lisa said, running up to them. "We have to act now." Valari nodded. "We move." She turned to her guards. "We fight not to protect power, but to protect our future. No more fear, no more silence." The soldiers cheered. It was not loud, but it was strong. They moved through the city streets, block by block. Fires burned in corners. The enemy fought hard, but Valeris's side had hope. In the middle of the fight, Ethan saw a group of children hiding in a broken house. He rushed in and helped them escape. A blast hit near him, but he pushed the children to safety. Valari saw this. Her heart stopped for a second. Then she moved fast, cutting through enemies to reach him. Ethan stood, coughing from the smoke. "I'm fine," he said. "Don't do that again," Valari said. "No promises," he smiled. They kept fighting. Hours passed. The city shook. Then, near the palace gates, the final battle began. Kalon stood at the front of the enemy line. He wore dark armor and held a long staff. "You ruined everything," he shouted at Valari. "I saved us," she shouted back. "You wanted power, I want peace." He attacked. The two clashed in the center of the court. Sparks flew. Their weapons hit hard. Ethan saw a soldier sneaking toward Valari from behind. He jumped in, blocking the attack. He fought the soldier off, then turned to see Valari knock Kalon to the ground. "It's over," she said. Kalon looked up. "You are weak." "No," she said. "I am strong, strong enough to feel, strong enough to change." She stepped back. "Take him." Guards came and pulled Kalon away. The fighting stopped. The enemy laid down their weapons. The sky began to clear. Valari stood in the center of the court. Her armor was scratched. Her hands were bruised, but she stood tall. Ethan walked to her side. "You did it." She shook her head. "We did." That evening, the fires were gone. The people came out of their homes. Valari spoke to them from the palace steps. "Today, we end the rule of fear. From now on, we build together. No more throne, no more Ice Queen. We will have a council, a voice for all." The crowd listened. Then someone started clapping. Then more joined. Soon, the sound filled the city. In the quiet of the garden, Valari sat with Ethan. The stars were bright. No smoke, no fire, just peace. "What now?" she asked. "Now we rest," Ethan said, "and tomorrow we begin again." "Will you stay?" she asked. He looked at her. Do you want me to? Yes, she said. Not as a guest, not as an envoy, just as you. He smiled. Then I'm not going anywhere. She leaned her head on his shoulder. For the first time in her life, Valari felt warm inside. She was no longer the Ice Queen. She was simply Valari, and that was enough.